Good evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to Season 14. Once you've got qualifying, then the main 1 hour race. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sim Racing Alliance. And this is where it all counts. As all eyes go to the light, and we are racing.
He brakes late, almost takes out the car ahead of him.
He's getting a tow, a flash.
Argy right on the exit, rear end squiggle. Who's going to get the move done here around the outside?
Oh, dang!
Iron ran it so shallow there, and this has become a 4-car battle. Game of inches as the BMW is in the paint.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Good evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to Season 15. It's Division 1. It's round number 3 from the sunny Nuremberg, Germany, to the rain on the forecast Barcelona. We now go to the circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. I'm Alexa Marshall, joined by Philip Ennis-Muller and Ilpo Ruotsalainen. Gentlemen, I'm no longer sick. We are back for Barcelona. And of course, we know what's coming our way. It's going to be an interesting one around this circuit, because as we saw in the intro as well, it's gonna be nighttime.
Yeah, should be an extra level of complexity. You know, typically in a lower division race, I'd be talking about, oh yeah, no, it's going to be tough to spot your braking zones, and will our drivers be able to adapt to the changing conditions? But I mean, come on, we're dealing with the professionals. This is Division 1. I have all the faith in these boys. They're going to be putting down some amazing lap races.
Especially we are. And Ilpo, what are your thoughts on this circuit? Of course, Barcelona, some may consider it similar to the Nürburgring, and it kind of is, because they both have chicanes at the end. Of course, Nürburgring being a lot faster, but it's a very interesting circuit here. What are your thoughts on it?
There's some similarity, but I would say this is in many ways this is a much more kind of high-speed circuit, if you think of it that way. There's two very significantly front tire eating corners, two very high-speed corners, and that tends to make the track actually feel very different when you're driving, and also for building your car setups and everything. And it's really challenging for some of the cars because of those very high-speed corners.
Yeah, most definitely. It's 4.657 kilometers, 2.894 miles for the American folks, and it is 16 corners, of course, using the old variation. So turn number 10 is a hairpin rather than an elongated left-hander, and of course you got the old chicane, that being 14 and 15. Turn number 1, very quick 90 degree, but it opens nicely for turn number 2 and turn number 3. Not a lot of runoff here, but there is a lot of tarmac on the outside of those first 3 corners. Turn number 4, infamous for 2014, Hamilton-Rosberg, the collision of the Mercedes, and then you go into the downhill section. 5, 6 and 7, which takes you then very quickly, quick switch left, uphill through turn number 8 into a kink. Then it's turn number 9, which you got to be very careful not to run wide onto the gravel. Turn number 10, heavy braking hairpin, probably one of the best opportunities to make an overtake here, maybe the best. And then of course into turn number 11, into turn number 12 and 13. 14 and 15 being the chicane. Be careful of the sausage curbs, you may be sent airborne. And then the final corner of turn number 16, you got to hope for a good run out of that final corner to get a shot down onto the main straight. And then going over to, we'll switch it up a little bit here as we go into qualifying. So we will go through the standings just before the race. As Philip, we have got plenty of drivers out there, and the first of which is going to be the Beamer driver, but of course being arced.
Yep, our D2 champion from last season, our silver hero, Mr. Arct, rocking that beautiful BMW livery. He's the BMW faithful, always strong in that car, leading us around this Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. In some good shots from inside. I always like to check over and see which of our drivers are wheel drivers, which of our drivers, like formerly Selena, currently Jay Queasy and McKechnie and some others, which of them are controller drivers. You always see that steering wheel jiggling around like crazy.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out, as of course, we'll let you hear the engines and we'll let you hear the roar as we do go looking through the windshield as the first runs will begin here at the circuit, the Barcelona, Catalunya. Riding on board with reigning silver champion, that will not be the same at the end of the season. He's been promoted and he now begins to run onto the main straight. It's got to be Arct. P number 30 right now with no lap time on the board. Split qualifying session, first 10 minutes for the silvers, final 10 minutes for the gold. Easy way to differentiate. Grey number plate, white number is the silvers, or white number plate, black number is the golds. Into turn number 1, Arct goes. In the trusty Beamer. The Beamer, probably one of the favourites around this circuit, around this known well track. As you see the big sun begin to set, of course, it's going to be very different in the race. It's going to be pitch black, it's going to be dark, and it's going to be tricky. But now into turn number 4, using the track as much as possible into the right-hander, trying to keep it close to the curb, but also bring it out a bit wider to set up for turn number 5. Quickly switch to the right and then hit it on the left into turn number 5, down the hill, in then towards turn number 6. Turn number 6 more the king for these GT3s, and then uphill, braking into the left-hander, throw it left, and then up into the right-hander at turn number 8. It can be very tricky to get that braking zone right and get back on the acceleration. Through turn number 9, many drivers may opt to take the curb in the entire time. Arc decides against it. Of course, you've got to be careful to get a banker lap in. And then into heavy braking. Turn number 10, have, of course, a hairpin, not the elongated corner like you see in real life on the new layout. Into the left-hander again, then into the right. Through turn number 12. Here you go, then towards turn number 13. It's then onto the braking again. It's sector 3, a lot of braking and acceleration right after the other. You can see the sausage curbs on the inside of the curbs. Be careful not to hit those. You may go airborne, or you may even go on 2 wheels. Using that yellow curb on the exit. How is that going to fare for Arct? Round the final corner at P number 16, and in position 16, and it's going to put him into P number 1, 1 minute 44. Is going to be beat by Douglas Mitchell, 1 minute 44, 037 time to beat at the moment. And of course, Arjun is going to go P number 3. Jason Moffat goes and beats that top time, 1 minute 44, 655 now to beat. And that is going to be Fire Queso, who goes P number 2, 300ths off the top time. But of course, Douglas Mitchell and Matt Gulf Lexus. It's going to be interesting to see how these cars will fare tonight. The Lexus, I would say, is not going to be a favourite unless it's leading out the hairpin. Of course, the Ford Mustang this season as well has been nerfed, and it is out and done. It is not as powerful as last season, so you don't see as many of those out there. But we see a lot more Lexuses. However, with these silver grids, it's a bit more varied. And McLaren sits on top, that now being Wilson, being less than a 10th. And then you've got a second row of Ferraris right there. And we will look at the liveries a little bit while we got time here in qualifying, as these lap times are filing in Oppo.
Yeah, you might actually be surprised. You might not think the Lexus is very good in the first sector, considering it's got kind of tricky corners, but it actually is very good in the first sector. The weakness of the Lexus is the kind of medium to high speed right-hand corner at the middle of the track. It just understeers terribly there, and the second weakness is coming out from the final chicane. Most of the Lexus drivers haven't really figured out how to get an exit from there, which is very unfortunate because there's a very long straight after it.
Yeah, most definitely. And Philip, we're currently watching the lap times here. Is there anything you're seeing on your little race delta as Douglas Mitchell now comes to the line?
So Joel Moffitt, in on a good improvement here, crosses the line of 143.247. Just taking a look at the practice leaderboards. Of our silver drivers, we've got Mr. Andrew Wilson. Oh, that's Marecki. This is Mr. Andrew Wilson in that beautiful McMaca's McLaren. On the practice leaderboard, a 1:42.925. So already with Moffitt and the Ferrari 3/10 off of that time. Times rapidly coming down for our silver drivers. Should see a fair few of them up into the 1:42s. I'm curious about track conditions, actually. I don't know, Ilpo, if you have that data available. Mine's not showing on screen. With these, this is a kind of late night 7 p.m. session, and then of course our race is going to be a deep night, dark race. Is this track currently fast? Has it gone optimum? Will it go optimum?
It has been optimum all the way from the start.
From the start. Okay, there you go.
It is slightly warmer than some of the practice servers, which explains a little bit of time loss. But also, this track is extremely difficult to get a perfect lap on. I would say more so than many other tracks. It's very hard to hit your leaderboard time in a very short qualifying session. So I would not be surprised if these drivers don't quite reach their lap times.
Fair enough, but as you say that, this is Mr. Andrew Wilson carefully navigating this final sector. He's about 4/10 down off of provisional pole, but on his previous best, he is about 3.5 up if he can carefully navigate this final chicane. Huge sausage curbs on the inside that McLaren would not want to be anywhere near successfully through, and with about 4/10 on the delta, we'll have to see if he gets the drive crossing the line. Gets himself up into P3 with a 1:43.247.
Yeah, well, here's the thing which I'm looking at here. Usually we see it with the qualifying session, as we're seeing Butkus come to the line here. You see usually that the gold drivers will have the better temperatures, but of course with the sun setting here, due to the race being at night, how is that going to fare for him now? Because as the temperatures drop, it's going to be harder to get those tyres up to temperature. It's going to be harder to get those fast lap times in. So is there going to be a bit more of a mix-up? If anywhere, before we have the variable rounds, of course, we've got 2 of those coming this season. Of course, Barcelona was actually one of those last season where we had the rain, and the thing with the variable weather is it's not the fact of if rain is going to come. There will be rain, but how much will there be? We got 2 of those rounds this season. Barcelona was the only one last season, and it seems like Barcelona really is a test track, both IRL and here, because of course we tested variable weather here last season, Philip, but now we're also doing a good old night races. Arcs goes P number 7, Guyman Person sits up top, 1:43.1 flat.
Yep, we got our other BMW silver driver here, Brian Anderson. A big improvement for him on the board, going from P18 up to only P15, but still got time for one more lap. Looking up at the front, we've got... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ilpo.
Ilpo, that's me. How did I sound like Ilpo? No, you carry on. I was just gonna mention about how long's left in qualifying. We got 1 minute left.
So here's an interesting point. Manperson has the fastest overall lap time without any purple sectors.
So right now it is going to become an interesting one. Of course, less than a minute now remaining on the clock. Guyman Person sits up top. We have got Butkus P number 2 in the Porsche. And then you've also got Wilson P number 3 with Moffat P number 4. Moffat in the pit lane, as well as Colin Dunham and Movo. So they are not going to be setting any more lap times here. John Crown is currently out there on the circuit. If you are watching on Twitch, you do get 1 free subscription with Prime to avoid any adverts that may come your way. But if you're watching on YouTube, it's ad-free. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications to get notified every single time SimPlay does go live. And live out on the circuit is John Crown in that McDonald's livery. Personally, I'm loving it. And you go through turn number 9 up to the top. Of course, we got plenty of fans in the grandstands here, Philip, but it's even better when we got fans in chat.
Yep, that is the best way to take in this race. hanging out at home in your cozy PJs, maybe a bucket of popcorn on your lap, watching this beautiful McLaren, the teammate of Andrew Wilson, John Crown here, trying to make it through this third sector. You know, I clicked onto him because through the first he was well up on his delta, but on this last flying lap here, perhaps his tires are a little bit burned, losing a fair bit of time, and just, into the pits. He's going to abandon that lap.
Yeah, and now the timer does tick down. Go ahead, Ilpo.
Wilson had the delta to take silver pole. Unfortunately, he got a bit of an oversteer moment coming out from the final chicane and lost all of it.
So as he crosses the line now, Guy Manperson locking up that provisional pole, our top silver driver in that Ghost Rider Racing BMW. Well done to him. Jurintis Butkus, P2, and Andrew Wilson, P3. We've got Kraus still on track, crossing the line, P19. It's about time. Let's get on to the gold drivers. We've got Jacob Palmieri leading the way, first out on track in that beautiful Netflix and chill Mercedes. Hoping for nothing but good stuff from him. He had a little bit of trouble last race after a really nice qualifying performance, warming up those rear tires. That's how you get some heat into him, get a little slippy slidey as he comes around that final bend, starting his first flying lap.
Yeah, Netflix and chill, but he's about to go on a chill lap time here. Ilpo, take us through it.
So turn 1, you use all the entry curb, brake as late as you dare, cut through the curbing, both turn 1 and 2. Turn 3, extremely difficult. None of the cars can really want to turn here, so you need to be very precise, using all the track on the exit beautifully. Again, use all the curb on the entry to open up the corner. Difficult exit from this one. There's a couple of bumps there which tend to upset the car. Hard braking in the tight left-hander. Using all the track on the exit again. And now probably one of the hardest corners on this track. Very easy to lose the car because you are braking and turning and then getting back on throttle very aggressively. High-speed right-hander, very understeery place. Most cars tend to understeer very badly, but beautifully done. Going to the heaviest braking zone of the track, all the way down to first gear, I would presume. And hitting the apex, using all the track. Again, using all the track you have, because that's how you go fast. And finally, the part of the track everybody seems to hate, over the crest and in the chicane. Hug the left side, hug the right side, get the power down, and this is completely easy flats and the line.
Yep, so on his first flying lap, Palmieri here, a 143.755, just getting the tires warmed up. A man, though, who did not need any time to get warmed up and get into action, Anton Rushevich in the Lexus. You'll love to see it, a 143.082. Jeremy Mercer, the first driver into the 42s, 142.997 on just that's his banker lap. That's the pace he's displaying. That's a good lead into the practice leaderboards. Jeremy Mercer, a 142.470, his best practice time. So these gold drivers are about to put in some fast laps, I'm predicting.
Yeah, well, that is the first 1 minute 42 of the evening, so it's going to be interesting to see who else will respond. 1 minute 42.997 current top lap time. Of course, Anton Rushevich is P number 2 at the moment. Michael Menning goes into P number 4. Of course, we saw what he did at the Paul Ricard circuit, and I was not here last week, so may somebody remind both myself and chat how this man did last week?
So one heck of a dramatic race last weekend. We had two drivers, Renato Dornelles and this man you see on screen, Michael Menning, at one time were leading the race. Dornelles, I believe, had a hardware issue and I don't know if he hit his ignition button or just had to slow down while something reset. Lost about 7 positions, ended up in P6 or 7. Michael Menning had a huge moment coming through the Schumacher S's, barely missed clipping the wall, and lost the lead from P1 to P2. Still finished P2, a great standing as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, you could feel his disappointment. He wanted more out of that race.
Yeah, well, he's going to look to get more tonight. Unfortunately missed out on the double, but may have to start it again. Currently sits where he does. That's Laz, who goes P number 4. You've got Nixon in P number 7. Guyman Person is still very high up there. We got less than 5 minutes on the clock, as somebody saying in chat, I'm in the 41s, but I'm invisible. That is fair enough as we head into the final chicane now. Watching Michael Menning up the leaderboard. Does go Andrew Rados, P number 3, Anton Rushovic, P number 4, and then Jeff Spangler sits P number 5. Guy Manperson down into P
there we go.
number 6. Because of that, Michael Menning to the top, no surprise, 142.682. Gentlemen, are we really surprised to see this man on top? Because ever since season 10, heck, even before that, but season 10 is as far back as my memory goes, he has been on absolute form as we move over to watch Kevin Blanchett.
Yeah, no, Michael Menning, my hero. As a former Honda driver myself, watching Michael Menning somehow manage to not only not crash that car, but drive as fast as any of the other European aliens. I've always been a big Michael Menning fan. Good to see him in another kind of odd car choice this season, the old 720 non-Evo McLaren.
Manning exactly matched his lap time on the leaderboard.
Oh, down to the thousandth. Wow. Crossing the line here, Blanchett up into P4, a 142.875, making it now, of our top 8, we've got 5 Lexi representing. So I don't think there is a bad track for this car.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Of course, we've got plenty more races to come the way this season. In the race, it may be a different matter. Of course, we've got Donington next week as well. But around the final corner now for Andrew Rados, may look to prove that I was wrong, aka me. Goes to the line, it stays P7, so no movement on the board there. Jeff Spangler, reigning champion, looking to defend his crown, sits in P number 8 at the current moment in time. It's an interesting one for him, of course, in the Lexus this season, and we saw in the livery reveal stream, that is why team funds dried up a little bit, so he had to get one on discount.
So coming through the third sector here.
I do just want to mention this. We have just got a raid from I'm so sorry if I butchered this. Ibiscoff Field Racing. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, viewers. Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. We're in qualifying at the moment for round number 3 of season number 15, and Michael Menning is on top, followed by the 2 drivers. Behind, of course, Donate is going to be P number 3.
So Jeremy Mercer currently sitting P2, well down on the Delta on this lap, just getting set up for one final push. We see Rados was 0.2 up on his Delta. Now he's not anymore. Let's click over to our other Ferrari 488, the old Ferrari. This is Mercer's teammate Jordan Nixon, promoting himself up into P6. A 142.945, well done to him. Of course, though, to nobody's surprise, current provisional pole, Michael Menning is on for another big improvement as he powers his car through this final sector, 0.2 on the Delta. If he can put that power down through this final corner, losing about a 0.5, but still going to be a big improvement. A 142.540. The rest of these gold drivers, they've got their work cut out for them trying to match this man.
Yeah, well, he may be a hard man to match, however, some will still try it. It's a very, very close lap time. Michael Menning could still improve. Checker flag will drop shortly. as of course it does continue here. This is round number 3. It's qualifying, only the gods are out there. Silver's already completed. Top silver driver so far this evening is Guy Manperson, but we'll wait and see how the race will fare. Of course, it's going to be dark, it's going to be night, you've only got your headlights as the checkered flag now falls here in qualifying as the sun does set, as that is going to be Jeremy Mercer. He will say P number 2, and he is going to be unfortunate with that one. Dinarte sits P number 3, also returning to the pit lane. It's also going to be Laz, Wilson, Sanchez, and of course a few more drivers in the pits. Who else is out there on the circuit? The last one of the drivers is now coming through turn number 5, so they are holding on to it. As you see the Cheetos livery there, driven by Andrew Rados. You've got Jeff Spangler as well coming round. That's going to be P number 4 for Anton Rushovic. He's going to sit there at the current moment. Nixon goes to the line, sits P number 7. Jeff Spangler, reigning champion. How will he respond to Michael Menning's threat? He's going to go around the final corner and he will go to the line. P number 4, second row, not too bad for the reigning, and he will finish up qualifying there for him. The other Lexus driver of Andrew Rados round the final corner, going to go to the line. P number 8 for him, not too bad at all. And we've got 4 more drivers to come to the line, Ilpo.
Yeah, so Mercer had one lap where he was improving quite significantly, but unfortunately he invalidated somewhere, I'm not sure exactly where. Other than Manning, I would say this is a really close qualifying. If you look at the results, there's top 10, I mean, other than Manning, the rest of the top 10 is extremely close. And also, we have to remember that these cars have very different tire wear characteristics, and this track is very hot.
Yeah. All right, so let us then, as we have a little bit of time before the start of this race, we didn't get a chance to look at it before the start of the session. Just quickly browsing through the standings. Like we mentioned last week, we do drop races here at SRA, so your worst result gets taken off of your overall point standings. So it looks a little weird. Michael Menning only 111 points, Thiago Dinarte only 110 points. If you're interested, if you care, head over to sra.gg, head over to the standings tab, and there's a handy little button that you can turn on the drop points, where you would see that Michael Menning with 212 points is leading from Thiago Dinarte and Andrew Rados, 190 and 165 points respectively. You would also be able to see that Joris Butkus is leading the silver over Eric Marecki and Guy Manperson. Team standings, we've got the New World Sim Racing Daddies, Kevin Blanchett and Andrew Rados, loving the teammate and loving the Lexus with a little bit of an advantage over the I'm Talking About In It team of Anton Rushovic and Omar Asorcia. While we're here, while we've got time, Alexa, can you help me translate that team name from Scouse into English?
Which one are we talking about?
Rushovic and Asorcia. I'm talking about in it.
What? In it?
In it?
In it?
In
You want me to make that? You want me to make the funny voice because I'm British in it?
In it? Hey, you're my expert.
hey, we're in it. We're in it, and we're gonna go all the way. But we got the racing action to come your way. Of course, while the formation lap goes on, we will have the chance, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with your racing action after a quick word from our sponsors.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specialising in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.
All right, we are back, and as mentioned, we are here for a gorgeous, aesthetic, cozy, comfy night race here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Michael Menning leading the way in that gorgeous Benson and Hedges liveried McLaren. Followed closely behind, we've got kind of the favorite going in, if you can even say anybody is the favorite over Michael Menning, Jeremy Mercer in the Ferrari 488. That classic Santander red Ferrari livery. Thiago Denarte, we didn't see too much of him in qualifying, just a calm, quiet, and fast qualifying performance, getting him onto the second row of the grid, alongside Jeff Spangler in that HKS liveried Lexus, the first of our Lexi. We've got Anton Rushevitz, Kevin Blanchett, Andrew Rados, and Kelvin Lau. 5 Lexus drivers in our top 11, going side by side now, making our way through our final couple of turns here. And as we come on to the main straight, on board with Michael Menning, kicking it over to Alexa for our race start.
So as the formation lap comes to an end, all drivers will go double file. It is season 15, Division 1, round number 3. It's the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. It's dark, it's night, the headlights are on. All eyes will go to the gantry lights. Green flag drops, we are racing. That's going to be a very good start for Michael Menning. Even better for Denarte. Looking for the outside, it's going to be Jeff Spangler and Anton Rushevitz. Ferrari is going to be right in the middle, hopping in the slipstream. It's going to be all these drivers. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to come all the way through? Nearly nice and clean. That is a driver
behind.
And that is 2 cars off in the background. Jacob Palmieri and Arthur picked up drive-throughs off the start. And this is going to be over for it. The Retro Williams livery, that being John Lance, is out and down. That is unlucky on the race start. Wheel to wheel, side by side is going to be Jeff Spangler. Also going to be there. Michael Menning has got away scot-free, and he is holding on to it at this current moment in time. Down the inside, it's going to be going Jeremy Mercer in that Ferrari Retro livery on the original Ferrari 296. Big killers in the back. 3, 4, 5 drivers caught up in that. We saw the yellows. We will get the replay. Philip, take us through it.
So lots of drivers plummeting down the order as we come into this long right-hander. Oh, we had a car sideways ahead. That's Arced, who got clipped and just starts a chain reaction. Half a dozen drivers at least now with huge damage based off of that. We had another incident in the meantime. If we can get on with Daddy Doug, this is that fast right-hander going up and over the crest. We had some stoppage ahead. A car sideways on corner entry, 3 wide, and Doug just gets put into the side of a BMW. This is a chaotic first lap. We've got drive-throughs, we've got collisions, we've got, at the very least, Michael Menning still leading the way, but with we've got so Jeremy Mercer started P2 down to P5. Not a great start for him, but he's holding on to it. Thiago Denarte promoting himself up into P2. Spangler, Blanchett, Lau. I believe Palmieri was one of our drive-throughs serving that now. Another driver, number 32, that's Arced, who was not only getting a drive-through, but also the recipient of some damage from some incidents. This nighttime race has turned into a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, well, it is one of those things that becomes tricky during the night. We see it all the time happen through turn number 6 and 7 and 8. It does get a bit tricky when you're going up through that left-hander. If you have to hop on the brakes to avoid the gravel, it can cause collisions behind. Through the left-hander now of turn number 6, into 7 and then into 8. Up the hill, through the right-hander of turn number 9. Question is, can Anton Rushevic set up a move here? In fact, that's Diego Dinarte or Anton. We'll wait and see. They are flip-flopping as it takes a while to update. There we go. We're now in P number 3, now P number 2. Anton Rushevic is going to be behind. It's going to be tricky between all of these drivers as they head through the left-hander into the right-hander. And Ilpo, let us know, have you seen anything else in the back?
So, absolutely catastrophic race start for Guy Manperson. He's 15 positions down. A really good start for Durance, who is 13 positions up.
Wow, 13 up to P11 for Durance. We've got Flanger side by side.
Looks like Laz has picked up the stop and go 30 for speeding in the pits. He did his mandatory pit stop on lap 1.
Yeah, that was a nice move there by Timothy Flanger. You also see in the background quite a few drivers making their way through. It's updating now as they drop down the order. You saw that wheel-to-wheel side-by-side. It looks like it's going to happen again. Down the inside goes Renato Dornelles. Going to hold on to that P number 9 position and make sure that the driver behind Gomer Wilson is not going to be able to get past. Of course, key reminder, especially here in the Sim Racing Alliance, the Ford Mustang has been nerfed. We have taken 200 horsepower out of it, so it is not as overpowered as last season. It does not get away on the straights like it used to, and it's created an aspect of there's not as many people driving it, there's a lot more variety, and it now creates the interesting aspect of everything overall. And it now comes up and through Anton Rushevic into the right-hander, up through turn number 9, down towards turn number 10, as somebody is laughing in the chat about the 200 horsepower. But then again, you never know, because some people may like horses.
It's just Diego. You don't got to worry about him. Back up at the front, we've got Menning from Dinarte, Rushevic, Spangler. The midfield action, though, still super hot. We've got Fire Queso putting the pressure on Butkus. This is our silver battle. Wilson from Butkus, from Queso, from Joel Moffitt, our two Ferrari 296 faithful, sitting P16 and 17, trying to put a little bit of pressure on this midfield. We've got side-by-side action. This is Guy Manperson going toe-to-toe with, is that Arjun? Kraus. Sorry, that's Jack Kraus, the teammate of Jacob Palmieri, our other Gabagool Racing Mercedes, making it work, making the overtake over Guy Manperson, coming onto the straight for our next lap.
Yeah, it got a little bit spicy there. It's down into the first corner. Looked like we're going to have a move there. Go ahead, Ilpo.
I think Manperson was actually the one trying to make an overtake.
Oh, okay.
They were side by side for a very significant part of the lap.
So speaking of side by side, it's Key versus Dunham. That is very wide there for the Ferrari. That of course being Amos Movo, and you get in the retro Williams livery as well. We got plenty of liveries which are absolutely lovely around this circuit. Around the outside now, looking for it is Colin Dunham, but no move there made for the time being. Key is actually going to squeeze him a little bit. Nice and clean though. You are allowed to do that, and he got it done perfectly clean.
So if I'm Jeremy Mercer, Ilpo, and I'm sitting P5, I lost 3 positions on race start, sitting behind Alexis that I have to imagine not the easiest thing to pass in a straight line. At what point in time in this race am I starting to think undercut?
That's tricky, because the field is so mixed up right now. Also, it's not like the 480 does have some speed. It just takes a while to get there. I'm not sure how it is. Yeah, it seems to be quite significantly slower on the straight. I don't know. It depends on how you feel about the overall situation. The problem is that if you go for an undercut, you might get overtaken later on in the race, because again, some of the other cars are better on the straight and out from the chicane, because it's both the exit from the chicane and the straight line speed that are important.
Yeah, case in point there, we just caught a glimpse. That was Kelvin Lau pulling fully side by side with the other Ferrari 40. Oh, contact! That's Dornell's into the back of Kelvin Lau and just puts him off at turn 4. Kelvin Lau tumbling down the order, now P16 in a questionable rejoin. That was almost another contact there with, I believe, Fire Queso. Ooh.
Yeah, it can get a little bit tricky. I guess you're gonna have to hope that you don't have Kelvin Lau in your fantasy team. Of course, if you didn't know, SRA does have a fantasy, and you can sign up to it and then vote on your drivers. Of course, there's a draft at the start of the season, which has already been done, but it's not too late to get involved. And whoever wins gets to be on the reveal stream and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's either a cheesy or a bready.
It's a bready. You take a piece of bread and you drink your beverage of choice out of it. The man you see on screen here, Anton Rushevitz, our defending champion, back-to-back 2-time fantasy winner. I haven't yet seen Iris in the chat. Normally we like to give her a special shout out for always being a viewer, always being in the chat supporting Anton. Actually the person who baked the bread for Anton, homemade bread. Can you beat that?
Honestly, homemade bread you can never beat, because it is one of the delicacies of the world. I am just looking for it. I do not think Iris is actually watching tonight, so unfortunate for us. However, it is good to see plenty of supporters in the chat, as there is plenty of fights happening out around the field. Very wide there for what seems to be Eric Marecki in the dark.
Kim.
And it was Evan Kim actually, so Eric Marecki has slid through like a smooth operator, and he's got it done. Eric Marecki, and who is that in the middle of them then?
Well, so that was Evan Kim with the huge overspeed attempting the overtake on the Mustang of Dan Cran ahead, going well deep but maintaining the position, at least for now, over Eric Marecki. We've got a driver off in the first sector. That was Michael Landry, and just straight returns to the garage all by himself. Maybe having a little trouble with the grip levels on the... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That was...
All right. R.I.P. to Retro Williams.
I believe that was John... No, maybe it was Amos Movo. Either way, that is a return to garage and a rage quit for the unfortunate McLaren driver.
D1 may be nice and clean, but sometimes it gets a little tricky. And who knows, it may be night tonight, but we still got the variable weather races still to come. Of course, stay tuned with Sim Race Alliance, because next week, I believe it's one of them. And it's actually going to make sense for once, because guess what? We're going to Donington.
Oh, you British and your gloomy weather and your racing in the rain.
What can I say? It's the best way to do it. It's the best way to do it because it puts all the cars on an even playing field. And we've already got somebody saying, shocker, Lexus with fastest lap.
Yep, Kevin Blanchett, a 143.460, currently the purple lap of this race. Of course, that will come down after our pit stops and we slap on some fresh rubber. But wouldn't surprise me if it stays in Lexus hands all throughout this race.
Well, I mean, by 5 thousandths of a second from Manning, who has done a 143.465.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And also you have to remember that Manning doesn't have any toe. Blanchett might have had toe for that lap. So...
yeah. Yep, currently sitting 1.4 seconds off of the back of P5 Jeremy Mercer.
Clearly faster than Spangler, so he probably should be thinking about some kind of undercuts. It's a little bit early now, but in maybe like 5 minutes or so.
The back of that livery, I'm just appreciating some of the stickers we've got on there. As he gets a little further away, you might not be able to see it, but in the middle of that bumper, he had Pro, and somebody added Dash-ish to the back of that car. Pro-ish, Mr. Jeff Spangler. Ever humble, as always.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see as you head now down into turn number 1 again, lap after lap. It seems like it's a bit more chaotic than last week, but already, and we're not even at the 1 quarter mark yet. Everybody seemingly within about a sector, or within 2 sectors. However, we of course do have somebody in the 3rd sector. Now everybody's within about 2 sectors, and it is very unlucky for the 120, it seems, as they are being lapped, so it is just a little bit unfortunate. However, we are nearly at the 1 quarter mark, so Ilpo, I want you to take us through this. How is the BOP looking on the cars this week?
That is kind of difficult to analyze, because a lot of the fastest drivers tend to right now be in the Lexus. But the 488 has been strong. Even after the change to its BOP, it still seems to be very strong. The Lexus is strong. But yeah, I really don't know. It's very difficult to say. Also, the BOP in these conditions, we're looking at 17 degrees ambient on track right now, might be slightly different than what it is in qualifying conditions. There's a rather close fight between LeMay, Anderson, and Arjun. And actually, Kraus is joining it now.
Yep, so this is an on-track battle for P24, 25, 26, and 27. Kurt LeMay leading the way in that Pfaff Motorsports Porsche, followed closely behind. We've got Brian Anderson, Arjun Lakshmi Narasimhan, and Jack Kraus, our other Mercedes faithful driver. Coming on to this, we had was that LeMay pulling into the pit, so 45 minutes left on the clock, a very early first stop for the mandatory tire change. Kurt LeMay in the Porsche.
It's especially early considering he was leading the train. I would think as long as you are holding people back and slowing them down, you would stay out.
Yeah, speaking of holding people back, Guy Manperson right now,
An opportunistic move there. That was Douglas Mitchell just getting after. Who did he just overtake? That must have been a lapped driver. I apologize.
I think it was arced. Like, looking, it's a bit harder to tell in the dark, but I think no, it's Guy Manperson.
It was Manperson. Yeah, so it was Manperson and Dunham side by side on the straight, and as Manperson went wide, Doug just said, "I see a gap. I make the move."
I turn now. Good luck, everyone.
Good.
As right now it is going to be up and through the right-hander, as he is gonna hold on to it. As I would just like to mention, of course, Doug has that Gulf livery. However, we do have plenty of good livery makers in the series, as do not remember, Douglas asked for that livery less than about 3.5 days before the first round in Paul Ricard, and somebody who made that livery was able to get it done and turned around real quickly. So big props to all the livery makers here. But here at the 1 quarter mark, it's Michael Menning who leads, followed by Tiago Donate. Then it's Anton Rushovic who rounds out the podium. It's then Jeff Spangler, Jerry Mercer, Kevin Blanchette, Nixon, Wilson, Dornells, and Dominic Durand who rounds out the top 10. It's then Klaus, Peter O'Brien. Wilson leads the silver train with silver P2 going to Butkus and the Fire Queso in silver P3 at the current moment in time. That will round out the top 15. That's how it sits at the moment. We're 1 quarter in. We've still got 3 quarters to go.
On board, Tiago Donarte trying to hunt down Michael Menning, making sure we put plenty of respect on this man's name. He is our race winner from last week out, currently sitting P2 in the overall point standing. Tiago Donarte, that beautiful Bentley, driving from the wrong side of the car, as always.
Well, yeah, it's on the right side. It's on the right side of the car, quite literally and figuratively. I can't say the word. It's on the right hand side of the car correctly, because if it's on the left-hand side, then it ain't on the right side.
If it was not on the right side, it would be on the wrong side. Well said. At Bentley looking solid-ish over the final curbs. I think that was just a net code, maybe a little internet glitch. It looked like Thiago Dinarte was going well wide, but all's right with the world. Don't worry about it. Crossing the line, 10 laps down, and about a second the delta between P1 and P2.
I think I hurt somebody's head.
It's just CeeLo gain.
Honestly, who knows? I mean, heck, he gave me the vote last season, so I'm not going to bully him. Butkus right now looking for the move around the outside on Andrew Wilson.
Wow.
Very close, closing the gap. Nice and clean. That's how you get it done at turn number 1. Big squiggle for the Porsche. But here we go. John Moffat right there also looking for it. He's trying to hold
no.
He's got Evan. Yeah, touch. Round they go, but Evan is going to wait for him. Hold the brakes. Don't crash into each other, please.
I mean, I don't know if Evan Kim could have held it any tighter to that curb. Joel Moffitt did he squeeze himself into that pit maneuver? Either way, the result is the same.
Let's get a replay on board with Evan Kim, if our lovely producers in the background can do that, which they can. And just seems like
he was on the curb.
We could have gone far enough back, but he was on the curb, so it seems like the Ferrari just being there is a little bit awkward, as I do believe Ilpo has more information.
Well, the argument would be whether he had any right to the corner, because I'm not sure he had the overlap to claim the inside, so that will go to the stewards, I guess.
Or maybe it won't. They did both ways, so it may be a gentleman's agreement. Either way, over to you.
Yep, so we've got some action happening at the front. Both Jeremy Mercer and Anton Rushevich, 40 minutes on the clock, coming in for their one mandatory stop. It's about time for some undercutting. We'll have to keep an eye on the order as they complete their stops. Anton Rushevich, I think it's just the Lexus does the headlight flashing routine when it's got the pit limiter on. Not sending any messages there in the Lexus. Fire Queso as well coming into the pit from the midfield, one of our silver contenders, so we'll have to keep an eye on where he comes out in relation to Joris and Andrew. Looking for some close battles on track. It seems things have calmed down a bit. I don't want to jinx anyone, but Evan Kim seems to have calmed down a bit. Eric Marecki driving a lonely race down here. He's currently our third silver driver on track. 4 seconds between Dan Cran and Kelvin Lau. And a little bit of action here. We've got Butkus and Wilson separated by about a half a second. We'll keep an eye on this battle for the time being.
I have a minor surprise for you. The current fastest speed trap is shared between Jeff Spangler in the Lexus, which is no surprise to anyone. But the other driver with the same top speed of 279 kph is Dan Cran in the Ford Mustang with the restrictor.
What? The Mustang still has power? Say it ain't so.
I mean, both of them probably had significant tow to reach those speeds, but that's still quite interesting.
Yeah, extremely. Even with that negative 200 horsepower that we mentioned earlier, Dan Cran in the Mustang still doing it on top speed. Maybe a particularly low wing setup, but yeah.
Well, either way, big thing. That is going to be P number 4 into the pit lane. That's being Thiago Dinarte into the pits. So does Kelvin Lau and Eric Marecki. So they are coming into the boxes. They are making their stops. And here's the thing. Dinarte is coming in early, so I think he's going for the undercut on Menning here. But because we saw Menning do it at Paul Ricard in round number 1, and either way you slice it, Menning has one, Dinarte has one, both of these drivers looking for their second win of the season.
Yeah, potentially unlucky timing here for Menning. We've got some traffic. Colin Dunham with the blue flag, Menning making his way around, but as you would expect him to potentially react to the undercut and come into the pits on this lap, will that little bit of traffic make the difference? giving Dinarte the lead of this race.
Also, unfortunate timing for Jordan Nixon. Palmieri came out from the pits right in front of him and cost him whatever little gap he had with the cars behind. Now they are all back together.
Brutal stuff. So as he navigates this final chicane, Michael Menning, will he react? He will not react to the undercut of Dinarte, staying out for at least one more lap. Clicking onto that battle that Ilpo mentioned, this is Jordan Nixon in the other 488 Ferrari, currently sitting P4 of the drivers who are still out on track. We've got one driver behind, so Blanchette and Gomer Wilson both into the pits. Jeff Spangler pitting from, I believe he was P3. So
yeah, it was P2. It was P2 technically, but he's technically P3 on net.
Right behind Dinarte, yes. Speaking of Dinarte, let's see if we can find him on track. So this will be the proof. Will the undercut work? So Jeff Spangler in the pits now. Thiago Dinarte navigating his way through the third sector, keeping an eye on the gap as Dinarte comes around track.
Yeah, we're about to find out. Thiago Dinarte is leading that little pack on the mini-map. We're looking at the pit lane as well to see if Jeff Spangler will get moving. You'll see him in just a moment.
Car drops, he's moving.
All the way off the jacks, but it is going to be
but Dinarte, well past.
Will stay ahead. Yeah, he stays...
As does Rushevich, as does Mercer. There's the undercut. So Mercer was behind Spangler at the pits. Oh no, he comes out right behind him.
So, here we go. This is going to be the question. How are these going to fare against each other? We're nearly at the halfway mark here at the Sim Racing Alliance. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications again to get notified every single time Sim Racing Alliance goes live. And then if you're watching on Twitch, don't forget to like. You can subscribe for Prime if you don't want any adverts. But right now, we've got Jeff Spangler, who is going to be there with Jeremy Mercer as well as they head through these corners. So we've got an interesting fight here, but of course the big one to watch, Michael Menning, Dinarte, as Michael Menning has once again opted to stay out a little bit longer. He's navigating his way through turn number 3 at the current moment towards turn number 4. It's a very interesting moment now, because the longer Michael Menning stays out, the more his tyres are going to lose. But realistically, at the same time, it's going to be like that towards the end for Thiago Dinarte.
Very risky for Menning right now. Rushevich took the fastest lap, but he was a full second faster than Menning on the last lap.
Yeah, so purple lap now 1:43.255, and as Ilpo mentioned, Menning's last lap a 1:44.210, a full second slower, and if Dinarte can match Rushevich's pace, this is going to be a huge gain and potential risk here for Michael Menning.
Yeah, Nixon, O'Brien, Anderson, Kraus and Carpenter all into the pit lane. It's Nixon who has now come out off for Jackson's O'Brien. He also gets on the roll. But now, who's going to be interesting here into these final few corners? Surely you would think about it now. You know that you no longer have the fastest lap. You are losing time. You will want to pit. We're about to find out. Michael Menning will stay out again, deciding to do his own thing. It worked at Paul Ricard, but does lightning strike twice? Technically, yes. But will it work again here tonight? We'll wait and see. It's round number 3. It's Division 1 of season number 15. And it is now through these corners where everybody is going to do their own thing. And as somebody says in chat, I think Michael is doing this as a test drive. Well, we'll wait and see as into the pit lane does come Durant, as well as Klaus, and then P number 2 of Dornells.
Dornells, Durant, and Klaus.
Yeah, in very lovely looking liveries. Look at that's a very bright green Lamborghini. As let us know in chat which of your cars in ACC in the GT3s is the favourite. You know what? We'll all go with one. Ilpo can go first.
I mean, my favorite is obviously the Aston Martin out of the GT3s. Even though I don't even drive it anymore, but yeah, it's still mine.
What about you, Philip?
Oh, there's so many to choose. They're all such beautiful cars. I mean, the Honda always has a special place in my heart. The Ferrari 296, we've done a lot of seasons in. It's a beautiful car, but I have to give it to the car that I'm the fastest on the Nordschleife with. It's the BMW M4, the big sniffer.
Hey, personally, I'm a Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 person.
All right.
But right now, it is going mainly because it's the car which I've driven the most in the game, and it's the first ever car I drove in ACC. But mainly, we've also got Anton Rushovic there. Michael Menning, once again approaching the pit lane, decides to stay out again. Michael?
Michael?
Michael, no, Mikey, that was so not right. As we go back to 2021 for a second, but we're not in 2021, we're in 2025. Time's going too quick. Fun fact, we're closer to 2030 than 2000. We're closer to 2050 than 2000. But right now, Dinarte is currently getting closer to Michael Menning, technically.
Manning's last lap 1:45.0. Dinarte's last lap 1:43.5.
Yeah, you have to imagine, just based off of those times alone, what you're looking at on track right here. Dinarte from Rushovic. This is what I would expect to be the battle for the win of this race. Thiago Dinarte in an amazing position to take back-to-back race wins here, week 3 Barcelona.
Also, Mercer is trying everything he can to get by Spangler, but it's not working because the Lexus is so fast on the straight.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of didn't have too much time to dwell on this, but this was the undercut that we were expecting. Mercer did go for the earlier pit on Spangler, but just maybe his in-lap wasn't as fast, maybe his out-lap wasn't as fast, wasn't able to get it done with the strategy call, and now stuck in the same position he was at the start of the race.
Yeah, it may be down to that, but it comes down to everything else as well. Dan Crank, Crown, Simmons, all into the pit lane. And now you've also... So the only two people yet to pit are Michael Menning and Evan Kim. They are heading around the rest of the circuit. Evan Kim currently down into turn number 10. Michael Menning once again stays out, and he is not pitted either. So he is now onto the main straight. The question is, how long is this going to take for him? Down the main straight, he's in P number 1. He's got lap traffic up ahead though, because it may be Butkus or it may be Arjun, because I see a Porsche right up ahead.
Manning picked up the pace. Manning's last lap 1:43.9.
So still some life left in that old McLaren. You know, hey, if I was the fastest driver out there and I was getting bored, I would say, I'm going to intentionally sandbag this a little bit on strategy just so I can get the opportunity to maybe make some overtakes on track. Michael Menning putting a little challenge to himself in this race.
I mean, he's already done it enough with using the non-Evo here. He's using the non-Evo this team, so we'll see how that works out. Evan Kim comes into the pit lane. They will now put Dinarte up in a P number 2, thanks to Net. Evan Kim, of course, highest rider in the silvers at the moment, but we'll see how that fares after the pit lane. It is going to be Butkus who leads in the silvers, followed by Wilson and then Fire Queso. Michael Menning leads overall with Dinarte P2 and Rushovic P number 3 on Net, but I believe it's about to correct itself as everybody else is coming around this lovely circuit at the end of the day, and they're getting closer and closer. But we are past the halfway mark here, Philip, and it's getting a whole lot more interesting. We had a lot of chaos on lap number 1. We're halfway through. Whoa, that is going to be off the track for Peter O'Brien in the Nissan. But we're past the halfway. We are past the halfway mark now. So what's your verdict on this? As Michael Menning finally calls for the box.
Yep, finally into the pits. 28 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time to make some more action happen. We did see a glimpse there of Peter O'Brien struggling with that front end grip, going wide at turn 2. The pressure from the Lexus behind his building. You gotta give the respect throw. Driving that 2018 spec Nissan GTR. It's a beautiful car, a beautiful livery. Peter O'Brien rocking the old car. You love to see the diversity of car. looking just at my board here on the top 15, we've got, what, 10 different makes of cars? It's something you love to see, as opposed to the Spec Mustang series of LFM Pro.
There's actually quite a queue forming up behind Peter O'Brien. There's Lau, Klaus, Butkus, Queso, Wilson.
Hold on. I think Dinarte may get this. I'm trying to figure this out here. Where is Dinarte?
He's right ahead, so that's Dinarte and Rushevich making the overtake on Michael Menning, demoting himself from P1 to P3 after the failed overcut. You see here the gap on screen. I'm going to call that 1.2 seconds ahead to Anton Rushevich, the gap from P2 to P3 now.
It's going to be quite significant tire advantage, but I'm not sure. It's going to be very hard to overtake, because looking at the speeds, the McLaren is the slowest of the 3 cars in the top 3.
We're about to find out. We're about to find out. It's a Bentley P1, a Lexus P2, and then a McLaren P number 3. Oh, undercut did work there, so now you've got this fight happening. Also down here, you've got Colin Dunham, who is trying to fight his way through. If I'm correct, he's got Proust just in front of him.
Yep, tight battle on track here. We've got the McLaren on the Mercedes, just following in line. That Mercedes looking a little light on grip, coming through that long right-hander, but maintaining position, hard onto the brakes, nothing doing there. Let's kick it back ahead. So already we saw the gap coming out of the pits, 1.2 seconds. Michael Menning, oh no!
No, well, not off, but he is round, and he is going to have to hold those brakes. Those rears will be shot. The question is now, how far back is he going to fall? We'll find out when we get to the line, but that is incredibly uncomfortable for him. That's going to put him out of position, down into P number 8 of the line. Nixon is going to be right behind him as well. So the question is that Michael Menning's hopes of a podium gone? First overtaken by the undercut, now spins it round. I want to know, did he spin it on his own, or did he clip that sausage curb on the exit of the chicane?
Yeah, so he was pushing incredibly hard. He had gained a half a second to the cars ahead on that last lap alone, and just driving that difficult car on 0 TC, you might have called it correct, over the sausage curb on the outside, potentially enough to upset the rear and end Michael Menning's podium chances for this race.
Well, you never say never with Michael Menning, but right now it is going to be, as we're looking at it, I believe we've got lap traffic coming our way. It's very close between Dinarte and the driver behind, as that was yellow flags. 444 is round at the 444 is round in turn number 1 exit. That is Colin Dunham for Madhouse Racing. What happens here? Is it a clip or is it not? And we go down into turn number 1, turns in, just goes off, tries to come back on, and oh, that is, I think I am going to say this straight and clear, that is on him.
Yep, over the curb on the inside, just a little bit too much, and it sent him out into that Mercedes, who he was alongside with, and a little self-deletion there, unfortunately, for Colin Dunham. Back up ahead, P4 now, the battle for the final step on the podium. This is Mercer on Spangler. The gap ahead has grown 1 full second now between Spangler and Mercer, trying to get that bronze medal out of this race.
You may look for bronze, however, it comes down to it. Ilpo, have you seen anything interesting on your boards?
So, interestingly, despite not qualifying that well and not doing that well in the initial stages, guess who's leading silver? Well, it's our friend Butkus.
It's our friend.
Hey, it's a lovely Porsche. So we had a we're in D1, but I am going to mention it. D3 last week, Nürburgring. We know who it is. It's the SRA dame herself, Selina Boonstra, in the Porsche, picking up the overall win in Nürburgring. And maybe Butkus trying to replicate a bit of history here by trying to get a silver win here in D1.
Well, you mentioned it. We have to say it now. Selena Boonstra, the former D3 overall champion, still in D3. They thought, oh, she's on a wheel now. She's got a disadvantage. She's on a new input device. No way, man. You can't give this girl an advantage like a wheel and expect her not to be absolutely rapid. Taking the win last week. Shoutouts to Selena Boonstra. Hey, if she gets promoted back to D2, she can join the booth as the, we had the drone cam last season, remember?
We'll have drone cam back.
Exactly.
D1 will have drone cam back, so that...
Hashtag bring back Selena.
To be honest, I'll be real, one of the reasons why we mentioned that is because Selena was in D1 last season, and every single time I've been in D1, she's been in here, so we had to give the girl her flowers. But right now, Kelvin Lau looking for his flowers as he's trying to close in on the back of Peter O'Brien. That good old boat lane just in front, but now down into turn number 1. How is it going to fare? Very, very slow, as what does that say on the back? I believe that says something doors turbo.
6-valve DOHC RS turbo? Except we can't
No idea.
I think that's referring to some old, probably like Ford Cosworth race car, but I'm not sure.
Yep, this is of course the retro livery season. We don't have Donovan Colton on track, but he had a livery that we took the time to do a little research on. The Olympus Camera Lexus. We miss him. We don't know. Maybe Grandma Colton might still be hanging out in the stream. Of course, a longtime faithful viewer of the SRA stream. Shoutouts to the whole Colton family. Hope to have you back next week.
So if we're looking at drivers who are wildly out of position, well, obviously we know Manning had his problems and radios is all the way down, but looking at who's way up, we find Mr. Durance, 14 positions up, very quiet race, not much happening, but he's bringing in the points, and that's what matters in the end.
14 positions gained on this strength of field is an absolutely amazing drive. Currently the last driver in our top 10, right up behind, you see there, that's Nixon ahead in the other 488 Ferrari. Well done to Mr. Danny Durance.
I think he's just managed to avoid any trouble. And just
all
kept
the
it
chaos.
Clean, kept lapping, not been involved in anything. And sometimes that's how you get the points.
Yeah, you avoid the trouble and you get up high. But now tonight, it's going to be the rest of these drivers. Donate leads, followed by, of course, the P number 2. That being Anton Rushevic, followed by Jeff Spangler to round out the podium. Jerry Mercer then sits P number 4 with Kevin Blanchett, P number 5. Gomo Wilson, P number 6. Dom Owls, P number 7. Michael Manning sits P number 8 after spinning at the chicane, but he has got the fastest lap overall, followed by Nixon and then Durance to round out the top 10. Butkus leads in silver, followed by Fire Queso and Wilson to round out that podium for the silver drivers. So it is a little bit of an interesting aspect. We're in the final 20 minutes, the final third. We're on the home stretch, folks, and it is very, very interesting. It's calmed down a little bit since the start of this race, but I think that's expected with Barcelona, isn't it, Philip?
Yep, absolutely. We saw John Laz, blue flag driver, returning to garage and saying sayonara to this race, hoping for some better luck next week. Michael Manning, as mentioned, does now have the purple lap of this race, a 142.815. Plenty of pace left in that car, and you can only wonder what could have been had he been able to maintain that third position, not spin out, and put the pressure on Rushevic and Donarte in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, well, the closing stage is where they're going to have to think about it, as they do now continue here. Going to be heading, watching them, watching all the tracks, watching all the fights, and we got quite a few here. We're looking at the timing boards. You've got Jeff Spangler and Jay Mercer, who may be in a battle soon, same with the Mells and Michael Manning, then behind Nixon. You have got Durance, and then behind all that, you've got Peter O'Brien, who's leading quite a little bit of a train. You've got Peter O'Brien in the lead, And then you've got Kelvin Lau, Klaus, as well as Butkus. So that's the Peter O'Brien Express with 3 astern, as those are the current battles inside the top 20, which may be evolving towards the end of this race. Personally, if I was going to say they're going to evolve anything, it would be a steel type.
Gotta catch them all. So Mercer and Spangler, the battle continues. But yeah, so Michael Menning, as you mentioned, has now caught up to Renato Dornelles ahead. The gap 0.7 seconds, 7/10 of a second, coming through this final sector, navigating the sausage curbs. Michael Menning looking to gain a couple positions back. He's back in control, and he's back on the pace, on the attack. 0.4 seconds now as they come onto the start-finish straight. Going to have a huge advantage with that slipstream.
Should be able to make this work in a lap or two if it doesn't work this lap. The old McLaren has better top speed than the new one.
And it is shown there a clear overlap before the braking zone. Michael Menning on Dornelles, P7 now.
So, clearly, Rasowicz is falling off from Dinate, I think. He probably doesn't have the tires anymore. The Lexus is pretty rough on tires, while the Bentley is one of the best. It is very interesting that Mercer is managing to stay with Spangler, because Mercer pitted, I think, must have been 2 laps before Spangler, so Mercer has theoretically the worst tires, but maybe the 488 is pretty good on tires here, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Lexus, you are a Lexus driver yourself. I wouldn't expect it to be that great on tires with that kind of difficult balance. I get a lot of wheel spin on the rear myself.
No, it's not great, but with these temperatures, it's manageable. If this was a typical Barcelona race with like 35 degrees or whatever, it would be a different story entirely. But I think it's the cold temperatures that makes it kind of not terrible.
So Spangler getting the draft from the blue flag driver ahead, pulling out into the braking zone. Jeremy Mercer losing a bit of ground on that lap. Almost 1 full second now, the gap ahead. The Peter O'Brien train continues chugging along. This is Kelvin Lau, unable to make an impression on this long straight. I think we found the one car that the Lexus can't overtake on raw power alone.
Yeah, if there's a couple of cars that can put a fight up to the Lexus on straight line speed, the GTR and the Ford Mustang, even with the restrictor, are pretty good.
A little side by side.
Right. Yeah, so right now it is looking like a little side by side, like you said, Philip. Almost a move there into the final quarter now. It's definitely calmed down a little bit. We got a few battles out here, and thank you, Booga. I am going to be using that later. Right now we got plenty of little battles happening here, but nice and calm. It's calmed down a little. But my question is, do we think Mercer can get Spangler towards the end?
Spangler is losing tons of time to the silver cars behind him. He pitted massively earlier, so his tires are, I mean, it's the Audi. We know the rear tires are gone.
It's the Audi. Yeah, I believe Flamger got caught up in some of our lap 1 drama. Maybe had some damage that he had to repair. And yeah, a very early pit for Flamger. Just fighting to maintain control of his car, maintain position. 13 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this race. Evan Kim in that Lexus looking hungry coming through this third sector.
And the 2 McLarens behind are just waiting for something to happen.
They're like vultures back there.
Well, you wait and you find. Who knows? You may put it in a museum in the British cars. But right now, around the final corner, going to be looking for it down the main straight. We know what this Lexus can be like. hops in the slipstream, trying to hold the draft up against them, down the back straight, closing, looking at the rear bumper. Defensive move made by Timothy Flamger. Gonna walk through it round the outside line, gonna be going into the braking zone, gonna hold it, gonna get it, Evan Kim past Timothy Flamger.
Dominant stuff there, even with the defensive line from Flamger. Evan Kim just marching around the outside, and now Simons and Crown looking hungry as well, looking to get a couple more positions off of that poor defenseless Audi.
It's going to be a little bit harder for the McLarens. They get a very good exit from the chicane, but they don't quite have the same kind of pull on the straight.
So the lad from Sao Paulo, Tiago, is it Tiago? We don't know yet, but he's got a hold on this race. The gap up at the front has stretched up to 1.5 seconds now. Coming around the final corner, finishing this 27th lap of the race. Anton Rushovich losing touch a little bit. That's okay. The gap behind 2.4 seconds from P2 to P3. So all Anton needs to do just needs to keep it clean and bring it home.
Yeah, keep it clean, bring it home. That's all you really need to do in a race like this. He's going to hold on to it for the time being. Michael Menning, of course, he fell down to P number 8. He did make that move earlier. He's up where he sits, but right now, Michael Menning is going to be going for it. Done, dusted, almost no. Also there, all over the place, and
also gets Gomer. He gets him. I want to go back and see. So this is on the straight, and similarly to the last move we saw on Dornell's in the slipstream, pulls out, goes for the move, and stronger on the brakes. That's Michael Menning up into P6 in this race.
2 positions gained, so not too bad recovery overall so far from what we saw happened. He's still fastest overall as well, so he's got that fastest lap ticket in the booth. You don't want to spend, you got to be careful though. You don't want to spend too many speed tokens. This corner, probably the worst place to get it through turn number 8 is the speed token moment area where you can spend those speed tokens. But of course, you get 3. You try to use a 4th, and you get a big old no-no. You get a penalty if you do that. But seemingly, nobody has got that so far, apart from on the race starts, because of being out of position or speeding. So that is what happened earlier on in this race. But now you've got to be careful, because Diego Donate is coming up on a bit of lap traffic. Other than that, he's got clean air right ahead of him.
Yep, 1 car ahead. That's the number 32 car of Arct, one of our unfortunate lap 1 big collisions. I'm sure he will be plenty respectful though, and not do too much to hold up our lovely race leaders.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Of course, he is the reigning silver champion, unable to hold onto it this season. So, because he got promoted to D1, he can't exactly defend his crown in D2 when he's not there. I would and all we gotta hope for is that Ilpo doesn't get taken out of our booth when he gets promoted to D. When he does want to get promoted to D1 eventually. Is yellow in the final corners. What has happened here? It's Timothy Flamger. Philip, it's over to you.
So, the 2 McLarens behind, right on the tail of Timothy Flamger, and coming into this final chicane, a little bit of sausage curb action, a little bit of squirrely, and just didn't have the drive. The McLaren behind maybe caught off guard and goes into the back of the Audi. Flamger now P23 in this race. John Crown, perhaps the offending party, has returned to the pit lane and decided, that's enough for me.
I think that was a easy off moment for the Audi.
Yeah.
And the McLarens were just not ready for him having to lift there on the exit to catch the car.
Yeah, no, tough. You can't expect the drivers behind to be able to react that fast, and especially when you've got 3 cars nose to tail like that. The Audi just, unfortunately, got caught off guard.
So, Spangler is slowly catching up to Rosevich, and Mercer is still sitting there, unable to make anything work, but also not falling off.
Yeah, so good point. So that gap that was about 2.5 seconds from Rushevich to Spangler has come down 1.7 seconds the last time they crossed the line. You see the gap represented on your screen here. That dot in the distance, that is Anton Rushevich, who is himself actually, it must be said, catching back up to Dinarte, almost down to 1 second, the gap from P1 to P2. So the front of this race starting to squeeze back together. 8 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing the ticking of the clock as it counts down, and you will get ready to rumble. These battles, which may have devolved earlier, may begin to resolve themselves, and the battle for the podium overall and the battle for the race win overall may be in the grasp. You got to be careful as well, though. You got Jay Mercer and Kevin Blanchette just behind you, and I do believe that is going to be Michael Menning just in the back as well. Yes, it will be. So one mistake from any of these drivers and it can be a place to gain for any. He's made up 2 positions since his moment. Michael Menning slowly making his way through, siphoning through the field back into P number 6. I say slowly, he's still got fastest overall lap. In fact, let's go through this. Ilpo, let's provide the viewers with some information. How are the lap times looking between Dinarte and, of course, P number 2 of Rushevich?
They are extremely similar. The last lap difference is 5,000ths of a second, and their best laps differ by 400ths of a second. So they are very, very, very closely matched right now.
Yep.
So we'll wait and see what will happen there. 1.2 between P1 and P2, 1.8 between P2 P3, less than a second between Spangler and Mercer. You go ahead.
No, just credit to the SRA BOP team, the Bentley, the Lexus, the old Ferrari, the old McLaren, and the new McLaren, and the Mustang, all just kind of right in the same realm of each other. I know as drivers we like to complain from time to time, but really you have to give a special shout out to the admin team, the BOP team. This is one of the best leagues in the world. We're grateful to be a part of it. This is Dinarte. We've got Arced up ahead, being a respectful blue flag driver, pulling out of the way, allowing P1 to go ahead. Thank you, Arced, and better luck next week.
So as we're going to enter the final 5 minutes here, we're nearly there. Danny Durant actually with Nixon just in front of him. Of course, nice little fight going on here. The white, the green, the purple. Chasing down that very much retro Ferrari, the classic black with just the sponsors on the side, the little bit of yellow there as well. So we're about to find out what will happen between these drivers. Of course, around the final corner now, we are going to have Michael Menning here, and he is closing in on the Lexus. He's closing in on Blanchette, unless that is a different car in front, but I do believe it's Blanchette because look at the straight line speed that Lexus gets.
Yep, so 0.3 the gap as they pulled on to the start-finish straight, and as they exit the start-finish straight, 0.4 seconds the gap. So even in the slipstream, the old McLaren not able to even maintain a gap to the strong grass-green Lexus ahead of Mr. Kevin Blanchette.
Yeah, so the top speeds recorded for Blanchette 247 kph, and for Manning 273. So they are very close. I'm not sure if Blanchette has had any laps with like full tow.
But Blanchette has to go defensive now, struggling through the twisty stuff. Menning on the attack. Looking to the inside on this right-hand kink. Not an overtaking zone, but the slow hairpin coming up. It has to be one of the best opportunities for the McLaren to make this move. Blanchette going defensive on the inside. Menning looking for the cutback. Not enough to make it happen.
Yeah, you gotta wonder how is it going to play out between all of them, because it looked like Michael Menning was going to go for the up and under, but the Lexus being a bit more squiggly wiggly on the rear end through that section of 6, 7 and 8. is going to hold him up a little bit through the chicane. Big old boat, as that is yellow.
599, that's
599.
Guy Manperson, our top silver qualifier.
So I think this is just going to be a spin here on his own, unless there's contact from the car behind into the braking zone. And
Oh, just a little wide.
Yeah. Oh, very wide on his own. So
Not even a spin. We just got a yellow flag for being that far off track. Maybe getting out of the way of some of the faster drivers behind. He is down in P33, so definitely blue flagged to some of the traffic behind coming into the pits now.
It definitely was a lap down, so it probably just avoided it.
Yeah. Yep.
Mercer is very close. Spangler and Manning is still trying to get.
Manning alongside Blanchette now.
I think he's got it done. He's got it done.
Oh.
The tire difference is massive now.
Well, to P5 now, Michael Menning. And actually, the entire top 4 now. So Dinarte to Rushevich, 1 second. Spangler to Rushevich, 1 second. Mercer now just a 1/10 of a second behind this Lexus of Jeff Spangler, still just trying for any way past this absolute defensive unit that is the no suck for you pro-ish Lexus of Jeff Spangler.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at this now. I'm looking at the times here, just trying to figure this out. I think we should have another lap, but we may not actually. Elpa, well, let us know, what was the last lap time for the leader?
144.3.
So he's going to have to put the foot to the floor, because we may be on the final lap.
It's going to be extremely close, whether there's an extra lap or not.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely close. I'm sure Mercer is going to want to look for it this lap then. It may be the final, we do not know. It's going to be extremely close. With the timing that we saw, it should not be. This should be the final. So now we go here. Final lap possibly here in round number 3 of season number 15 in Division 1. It's ticking down closer and closer. Michael Menning vanished for a second. Didn't know that we had an invisible man act on. But Evan Kim looking for it down the inside. Lovely jubbly. Does he get it done? He's going to go wheel to wheel, side by side with Dan Cran, everybody's favourite admin. But now he's going to have the inside line in turn number 3. And that Lexus is going to get it done, but the Ford Mustang is going to bite back.
Yep, excellent racecraft out of our 2 admins. Dan Cran, unfortunately, just losing out surprisingly. The Lexus making it work through the twisty stuff. Back ahead, your entire top 4 you saw on screen at the same time there. The Bentley from the Lexus, from the Ferrari 488. Jeremy Mercer, this is his last opportunity as they navigate Sector 3. Will he be able to get it done on the Lexus and bring in the fantasy points and the pick D's points for everybody who had faith in him? Final chance now.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out, Philip. I think, yes, it will be final. Diego Dinarte, the man from Sao Paulo, will go double and win here at Barcelona. So that was real close.
So Michael Menning salvaging a lot of good points here. P5 in the end. Well done to him on his recovery drive. Blanchette from Wilson, Dornells Nixon, and Danny Durance rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and then Butkus as well comes across the line. He will round out the silvers. That will be the podium with Firecase and Wilson in that silver category. But of course, overall points, not per division. So that is how that is going to fare, and that is going to become a very, very interesting factor. But we've still got a few drivers going around. However, of course, it looks like this. It's going to be Diego Dinarte who will end up winning here with Anton Rushevic P number 2, Jeff Spangler P number 3. Then Jerry Mercer, Michael Menning with that recovery drive, Bunter P number 8 will end up finishing in P number 5. It's then Kevin Blanchette, Wilson, Demels, Nixon, Durant, Peter O'Brien, Kelvin Lau, and then you've also got Fire Queso just behind Butkus, followed by Wilson, Rados, Marecki, Kim, Cran, Moffat, Simmons, Flamger, LeMay, Anderson, Palmieri, Mitchell, Arjun, Kraus, K, and then it's Dunham, Carpenter, Arced, Manperson, and Crown. So that is how that is going to finish. And that got real close there. That was by only 3 seconds over the clock.
Yeah, that was a fantastic finish from our top 4, all within striking range of each other, down to the very end. Even the slightest mistake would have done it, but these guys, they're professionals. Thiago Dinarte, fantastically well done. 2 in a row now for what will be our new overall points leader for Division 1.
Yeah, that will actually, considering what happened to Michael Menning. So that is what is going to happen over in that regard. I am trying to get everything open real quick. So that is what is going to happen. And you know what? Just before we get on with these interviews, and so I can stall a little bit, let's go over, so we can do these interviews and all that, let's go over to the calendar real quick, Philip, because we have got an interesting calendar to talk about, which we did not at the start.
Yep.
So of course, Barcelona done tonight, and now I want to get your thoughts on this, Philip and Ilpo. I'll go with Ilpo first. Variable weather at Donington. Very different circuit, and very different weather. Rain is guaranteed, it's just depending on how much there is, so what we're thinking?
It's Donington, which in itself tends to be everything. I mean, there's not really many places to overtake, and there tends to be a lot of track limits issues. Rain is gonna make the track limits even worse, because you're not gonna get any no-time gains in wet. So yeah, that's good. I'm surprised we had so much chaos in this one, because I was expecting it to happen in the next one, but hopefully it'll be clean. But I would not be surprised if the qualifying order is very mixed up.
Yeah, well, what about you as well, Philip? Of course, Donington, I know what you can think about it, but variable weather, first of the 2 this season.
So for me as a driver, the big thing about any rain or variable weather races is the amount of preparation that you put into it. You need to make sure your setups are on point, you know your pressures for every variable amount of rain. Is it heavy rain? Is it light rain? Is it a fast track? Is it a greasy track? You need to put in the practice laps. I think the drivers who are the top of the sweatshop leaderboards will really be the ones to top this race.
Yeah, so we know what's gonna. You both know what's about to happen. Donington, best British circuit. I will hear no arguments. It is way better than Silverstone, and variable weather makes it a lot more interesting. It's the correct weather, considering it's Britain, for the first time ever since I joined, and it does create that interesting aspect. Of course, you've got Old Hairpin, you've got Coppice, you've got the Melbourne Hairpin. It's a very interesting track. Sector 1 very fast, Sector 2 can be quite technical, Sector 3 back on you, then back on you again. So with variable weather, it's definitely going to become an interesting aspect. I am trying to see if we've got anybody. I do believe
we've got all kinds of people.
We do have a Jeff Spangler, so we'll let you take this one, Ilpo. Let's do this nice and simple. 2 questions, and Jeff Spangler, you are live on Sim Racing Alliance. Ilpo Ruotsalainen, take the interview away.
So I'm curious, Jeff, how you felt about the tire wear in the Lexus.
Oh, so you're digging for information. Okay, that's fair. We might as well use the time. I will say that I was pleasantly surprised. The last 8 minutes or so, which is kind of, what I didn't do in the first stint, was not that great. But it looked like everybody aside from Jeremy was suffering on tires. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at how behaved the tires were. No graining or anything like that all around. So, yeah, it went well as far as tires go.
Yeah, that's kind of the surprising thing about the Lexus is that at least in these conditions, it's not as bad as you might think. Did you know that Jeremy actually had worse theoretically worse tires than you because he pitted before you.
Yes, yeah, I kind of gambled there, and I'm guessing he missed his box. I missed my box, and so yeah, I was lucky to keep that position, and Anton was 3.5, 4 seconds ahead. So a little disappointed, still getting used to a car that has an actual front hood, like the McLaren. So yeah, some growing pains. It would have been nice to have been up there with those guys to battle it out, instead of closing it down at the end. But definitely pleased with my second half pace. Another departure from the McLaren. McLaren seems like it's a good race car and it's good on fuel, but it's not it doesn't, at least for me, I never got noticeably faster in my second stint with lower fuel, and the Lexus is kind of the opposite. So nice to be able to have some pace towards the end of the race for sure.
So we're wondering about that actually. How did you end up in a Lexus anyway?
So I drove the Lexus a number of years ago. I think the last time I ever drove it was early 2022. Drove it in a couple other leagues. Before that, I drove the Bentley. So we kind of figured it was going to be one of those two, and decided to keep the driver's seat on the correct side of the vehicle, and have some fun with some ridiculous top end speed. So yeah, that's how we ended up in the Lexus.
Fine for you, sir.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive, coming to grips with it. So yeah, it's I will say I did not have a podium this season on my bingo card, so very happy to be able to get on the podium again this season. Thank you, Michael, for your last chicane shenanigans there.
Whoopsies.
Appreciate it.
Before we let go, Jeff, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I will always thank you all in the booth for doing this for us, and everybody else behind the scenes who make this league what it is. And looking forward to Mixed Conditions Donington. If you like Donington and you want to do the endurance race the week after that, make sure to sign up. And yeah,
good plug.
Yeah, I do what I can.
Well, fair enough, Jeff. We shall let you go. Pop open the champagne and have a good night.
Thanks. You too. Take care, everybody.
That was Jeff Spangler, and Philip, I shall let you take this one because we've got P2, and it is going to be Anton Rushevic, and it is P number 2 overall. Philip, take it away.
So, Anton, the bread man himself, congratulations on this beautiful podium. A bit of a fortuitous one. We had some faster drivers ahead, namely Mr. Michael Menning himself, take himself out of the race, kind of hand it to you and Dinarte. Towards the end, we saw you clawing that gap back. It was under a second with a couple laps to go. Did you feel like you had it in you? Were you thinking about making a move there at the end?
I think about 23 minutes in, I got a really lazy track cut on the last corner on the exit. So at that point, I was just really, happy that I got myself into that position in the first place. I don't even know how I ended up P3 after lap 1, to be honest. But yeah, I tried the undercut, and I mentioned Ilpo in the D1 chat. I asked how much did I lose in my pit entry because I overslowed so much going to the pits. I had pit limiter button issues at the beginning, and I was just making sure I didn't get a drive-through or a stop go 30. And I think ultimately, had it not been for that, I would have gotten ahead of Tiago. GG's to him, he had a fantastic race, but I'm overall really happy with the result. I didn't really want to push too much. It's a long season. Tires were really, really bad at the end. I had light graining and blistering on the front left, and we all know that Barcelona eats those tires up. So, especially on the Lexus, Sector 3 was horrible.
Blistering? Yikes.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was bad. Every turn 1, I think I missed my apex and my braking point, and it just didn't matter. So, never catching Tiago. I was just trying to keep my position because I know Jeff and Jeremy were very, very close behind.
Yeah, impressive stuff, being able to hold on that top 4 at the end, all separated by just a couple of seconds. So even at the very end, super tight margins. Looking ahead to next week, I mentioned, before you joined the booth, that being a variable weather race, it'll favor the drivers who put the time into the preparation. Looking at Mr. Amos Movo's website, you are one of the top drivers when it comes to practice laps. What's your approach for these kind of variable weather? How are you going to set up to succeed in this race next week?
That depends on me thinking I can succeed next week. I've never driven a single lap of Donington, so I don't know how that's going to end up. So it's going to be not only a learning experience for the track and the car there, but also the fact that it's going to be possibly wet, possibly dry, and probably a mix of both. So, I mean, just like last season, I had like maybe two setups to go, and I mean, we just play it by ear, right? Can't really decide like before the race what to do. It's just going to be a matter of what happens at the time. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. This entire championship battle so far has been super close with Kevin and Andrew for the team championship. I saw that Andrew had an incident at the beginning, so good for us. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, we're just about entering the halfway point, so long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we let you go, do we have any special shout outs, any thank yous? We didn't see Iris in the chat today. Can we get an Iris update from you?
Crazy, right? I mean, like my best D1 result, and she's not even there. SMH my head. She's actually, so I'm going to badmouth her group members here. She's working on a project at a university class, so, they're all lazy. But she's working hard, so I'm glad that she's at least doing that instead of watching me. But yeah, I'll give a shout out to her. Obviously, shout out to my dad, my mom. It's actually I'm missing a race this season because she's getting married in August, so that's gonna be awesome. Shout out mom. Shout out my stepdad or future stepdad. And yeah, I mean, shout out to you guys. Obviously, I mean, you guys are the best. Obviously, being here for us to commentate is pretty crazy races. I know it's not D4, so it's not as much entertainment as they have there, but yeah, I hope that we provided a show for you guys. But yeah, cheers, guys.
All right, we will let you get back to it. And so with that, I don't know if we're seeing anybody else we want to talk to. I think that's all I've got on the rundown. Alexa, what do we got?
We have P1 Silver. Good old Joris Butkus. We don't have P number 1 from gold, but we do have Silver. And Joris Butkus, a very good result in the Silver at least. P number, if I'm looking at this correctly, which I know I am, it's P number 14 overall, so in the top half. Talk us through that race, a very interesting one out there. And of course, in the Porsche as well, so how was that, Albert? Obviously, we saw all the chaos that happened on lap number 1.
Yeah, so this one was the toughest one so far, I think. I just didn't feel very comfortable in the car, first of all. Second of all, like I had fire queso on my back the whole race in the Ferrari. That was very sweaty. I don't know. I'm glad, like I ended up getting the result, but I couldn't wait for the race to be over.
Yeah, well, you got another one coming next week. Donington Park, variable weather. So, it is going to be an interesting one. You said you had Fire Queso chasing you this week. It may put the rain, which will come, may put it out next week. But Donington Park, a very tricky circuit to start off with. But adding the rain, how do you think that's going to work out? What's the preparation like?
So I'm way more excited for the race actually, because the Porsche in the rain out of those 2 hairpins in the last sector is gonna be awesome. So like I'm expecting a much better result next week hopefully, and than this week. Because again, this one was a tough one. So I just got a little bit lucky with man-person getting in trouble in the beginning of the race.
Hold on. A better result than being the top silver driver in the race.
Yeah, well, today was just very, very difficult. I'm hoping for like a slightly easier race again, at least next week. I don't know. Like again, did not have a good time, but result is there, so I'm happy.
Well, fair enough. And before we let you go, of course, the win in silver. But before we let you go, is there anybody you would like to give a thanks to? Because as far as I'm aware, this is the first time you've done this, unless you did it as well last week, and I have not been told.
No, last week I think it was P2 or something, or P3, but in silver. I did win the Paul Ricard race. But yeah, shout out to my wife and my daughter for letting me, practice at nights. My wife always, does the bed duty during the race nights and stuff. So I really appreciate that.
Well, fair enough. Congratulations to you, and we shall see you at Donington Park.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
So that was Joris Butkus, and gentlemen, this is going to be really sad to say, but I do not see our overall race winner. There has been some people who just hopped in there. Has he just hopped in there? No, he has not. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot see him, so we have no Diego Dinarte. So, gentlemen, let's get your final verdicts on this race.
I mean, it was unfortunately a little too chaotic. A lot of good drivers went tumbling down the order early. Good thing, again, I'll say it again, we do have a drop race here at SRA, so hopefully a lot of these guys will be back up at the top where we expect them to be next week. Hopefully a little bit cleaner. It wasn't mentioned at the time. Anton Rushevich is one of our lovely volunteer stewards for the community. He had his work cut out for him last week, and guys, we just got to keep it a little cleaner.
Your verdict, Tilpo.
I mean, I've seen the discussion in the other divisions that raced today. I'm not sure they kept it any cleaner.
Oh,
there,
no.
So. Unfortunately, I think the stewarding team has a lot of work to do this week as well.
Yeah, so could have been a bit more cleaner. The question could remain, what would have happened if there was an extra lap? We will never know, as we went 3 seconds over the timer. That's why it ended so abruptly. But, gentlemen, the racing action for this week is not done yet. As going into the rest of this week, of course, you have got myself, Adam Santana, and Henry Ramirez bringing you all the action right here on Twitch and YouTube. That's Division 2 tomorrow night here at Barcelona. Then Division 4 will be brought to you by Anton Rushevic and Marlon Abubo, with Division 6 being brought to you by Sig SVG and Selena Boonstra. That's Barcelona. Still to come this season, you've got round number 4 of Donington Park. That comes your way on the week of the 7th of the 29th of July into August. That's going to be variable weather. Rain is confirmed, but how much will there be? We'll wait and see. It's then round number 5 for Hungaroring. Nice and sunny at Monaco without the wall. Then Laguna Seca returns to place with the corkscrew. Variable weather there also, so how will that fare? Kyle Army, our home. It's going to be round number 7 for the penultimate round. And then if you think tonight was chaotic, just imagine how the finale is going to be. It's Monza for the season finale. That comes your way in the first week of September. Stick with us, stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Sim Racing Alliance Division 1 Season 15 round number 3. We will see you next week for round number 4 at Donington. I've been Alexa Marshall with Philip Ennis-Muller and Ilpo Ruotsalainen. Good night.